crocheters, specifically crochet business owners, we thrive in fall. I think it's something about the chilly sweater weather outside, crochet in our hands, and just snuggle up inside watching a good show, got a cup of chai there, you know, all of the fall things, the fall scents. I've got a fall candle going back here to kind of create the mood today. But I think it's just something about our craft that just does so well in fall. I personally want to crochet more when it's fall. Also, we have an advantage at these fall craft shows because our stuff as crocheters sells like crazy this time of year. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 fall ideas to sell at your upcoming fall craft shows. I seriously cannot wait for you to make these and experience how well they sell at craft shows. Hey makers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Camryn. I run the crochet boutique called Camryn's Cute Creations, where I sell primarily at craft shows, and I was actually able to pursue my business full-time with craft shows alone. Selling at craft shows is definitely something I'm very passionate about, and that is what inspired me to create this YouTube channel to help fellow makers like you find more success selling your handmade items at craft shows. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down 10 ideas for you to sell in fall. Now, selling in fall, as a crocheter, you have to do this, okay? You have to sell in fall. No, you don't have to, but I highly encourage you to check out fall markets in your area, because fall markets are pretty much the only markets that I do consistently. I'll do some in summer, I'll do some in winter, right before Christmas, of course, but fall is where we thrive as crochet business owners. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over some products that have sold really well for me in the past or drawn in a ton of customers at craft shows. A couple items I might not have personally sold, but I have seen that they've sold really well for other makers. So I'm going to include some of those in this video as well. So let's dive in, break down these 10 fall ideas I have for you in today's video. First thing, I can't just not bring up the pumpkins. These things sell like crazy. You might be wondering why I have a zillion on this display right here. I need to glue all of the cinnamon sticks in, so I need to do that, and I just had honestly nowhere else to put them. Little pumpkin city going on back here. I actually have a couple of different pumpkin patterns on my YouTube channel. It's actually my second YouTube video ever, so go check it out. And I also have it linked in the description where you can get all three sizes, because I have a small, medium, and a large size that you can sell at your markets. It's a free pattern, so you might as well go grab that and make some of these. They're super duper cute. I love the little kind of knob look on there with the popcorn stitch. I also just came out with this mini velvet pumpkin pattern for you all. It's another tutorial on my YouTube channel, so go check that one out too. They're super cute bundled together in sets. People love buying these in sets. They love getting them as gifts. And pro tip for you right now, use cinnamon sticks, okay? I know it's sometimes hard to get your hands on a ton of cinnamon sticks. I order mine in bulk off of Amazon, so I will link that in the description box down below. And by the way, all these patterns and all the things I mentioned will be linked down there for your convenience as well. So go check out the description box after this video. But I buy these in bulk off of Amazon, so I get a ton of them. And I also break these babies in half so that I can get more out of my stems. I'm all about saving money on materials and all the things, so that's what I love to do for my pumpkins. And go check out my patterns and make some of these, and trust me, you will not regret it. These things sell like hotcakes. In this video, I'll also give you a general price range and things that I price my items at if it's something I sell in my shop, because I know it's super helpful when you're trying to determine prices or kind of price points. Now, I will say, if you haven't already checked out my pricing calculator, that's going to help you come up with prices that guarantee you're making enough for your time, plus covering all of those additional costs of running a business, not only being your material costs, but also all of the other costs that go into it. It helps cover all of those costs, but I will be sharing my prices if it gives you a good place to get started with, or have a better idea if you think this is something that would sell well in your area. For the pumpkins, these chunky pumpkins, I have small, medium, and large. So small, I sell at $14, medium, I sell at $18, and large, I sell at $28. These little mini guys, I just sell at $5. I might up it to $6 this year, but Honestly, they whip up super duper quick and very, very low on your materials. So $5 works for me and my business. I sometimes even throw them in for free. If they buy 3 of the other kinds of pumpkins, I'll throw in a mini for free. It just entices people to buy more and encourages them to buy as a set, which is better for you and your business. So you can do little things like that with these as well, but I charge $5 for them anyway. I think for pumpkin decor, anywhere between $5 and $35 is totally fair depending on the size. So again, check out the pricing calculator to gauge how much you should be charging for your time and your material costs, but that just gives you a general idea of what I've been doing. Okay, the next thing is my best seller literally ever, and it is beanies. And beanies in fall sell like crazy. Sell beanies for sure if you're set up at an outdoor market during fall, because here's the thing, sometimes people don't realize how chilly it's gonna be and they wanna buy one and wear it that day, or they wanna buy it and wear it for photos that they're doing. I set up at a pumpkin patch every year and people love buying beanies for their whole family. So really, really smart idea to offer beanies and offer beanies in multiple sizes. Now I do have a velvet beanie pattern, this one with the double palms. This is my best seller ever. Pink with double palms, baby hats, sells so well for me. If you're looking for something that will just sell no matter what, get this pattern because these things sell like crazy for me. They're just too cute and they're so soft. Babies love them too because it's just so cozy. So I love the double palms for little girls because it looks like little pigtails, and my customers really love the double palms for little girls too. I'll do a single palm for a boy or no palm on there, and people love buying matching sets with these, so makes it an even better seller because people will buy multiple things. People will buy hats for the whole family, so they might have 3 kids and then they might get some for grandma and grandpa, and everybody gets a matching hat, and it is so cute. These are a really great seller for me in fall. I love the velvet, but these do take a little bit longer to whip up because the velvet, you do need to keep really tight tension. Now it's still a pretty quick pattern, but if you're looking for something that's like so quick, like you have a craft show next week, then whip out your Addy knitting machine or your Centro knitting machine and make some really quick machine knit beanies. I love selling these at my craft shows as well. I know they're not technically crochet, but if you have one of these knitting machines on hand, they are super awesome to whip up a ton of those. But that way you know you have a ton of those built up, and you know you can whip those out really quick. They only take me 20 minutes to make those on the knitting machine. Now these take anywhere from an hour to 2 hours for me depending on the size. Now I have 5 sizes all the way from newborn to adult, and here's another tip for you. When you're looking for sizes to sell of apparel products like this and you're feeling completely overwhelmed, I will give you what has worked for me in my business. Newborn and adult sell the best. Now, all the sizes in between sell really great too. So if you have time to incorporate those other sizes, highly encourage you to do so. But if you only have time to do just newborns, just adults, or maybe just newborns and adult sizes, then I would suggest starting there because you're gonna sell those more often, and then you can incorporate those other sizes as you grow in your business as well. As far as how much I sell my hats for, newborn I sell at $25. Each size going up goes up $5. So my adults are $45. So we got 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 because I got the 5 sizes, and that is how much I sell for my beanies. Now the Addy machine beanies, since I'm using the machine to help me make them and they're not hand crocheted, just offer them in adults, and I price those at $28, so they're a lot more affordable. People most always prefer the velvet ones, but I did want to incorporate a budget friendly option for people who didn't want to drop $45 on a beanie. But I will say a ton of people do drop $45 on these beanies, but I wanted another option that was a little bit more affordable, so that is why I do the Addy beanies for $28. I think a good range to shoot for hats, depending on the size, is $20 to $50. Over $50, I think you can do it. I have no doubt in you can do it, but you're gonna start selling them a lot slower because people are investing quite a bit more into a beanie, so just something to keep in mind. Next is headbands. Now headbands are just the next best option. If people are not beanie wearers, they're usually headband wearers. And by the way, if people aren't headband wearers, they're usually beanie wearers. They have to keep their ears warm somehow. People usually prefer either beanies or headbands. Some people like both, but some people are like, I look weird in headbands, or I don't know how to style headbands. Some people are like, oh my gosh, beanies look horrible on me, I have to have a headband. So having a headband is a super great option. Also, it is a little bit more affordable, so if people don't want to buy a beanie from you today, then they can grab a headband. They can still support you, they still get something from you, at least you give them that option. I always talk about how lower price point stuff sells more often at craft shows. There are some exceptions to this, but in general, I try to stay in the $5 to $30 range, and these headbands do fall in that category. So I love selling my velvet headbands for $25, and I also have done headbands with the Woolies Thick and Quick, really chunky ones, and I've sold them for like $15, and they sell like crazy. They're super, super quick to whip up. And if you are interested in either one of these patterns, go ahead and comment down below. I can definitely write those up as well. In general, I think it's safe to say $10 to $30 for a headband is completely fair. Next, let's talk about scarves. Now, scarves in my area aren't super duper popular. I think they were popular for a while. When I first started, I was doing more scarves, and I actually do a lot of the blanket scarves. Now, those aren't crocheted. That is a tutorial from Taylor Lynn Crochet. She does these blanket scarves, and she frays the edges of fabric, and I do sell those, and those still do sell at certain markets. Now, these are very hit or miss for me. At some markets, they sell like crazy. Some markets, they don't sell at all, but they're just a nice piece to fill up your booth. Even though it's not crocheted, it's kind of crafty still, and it just gives that kind of a different texture and a different item to offer. But as far as crocheted scarves go, I used to sell these quite a bit more, and I'm not as much anymore. They personally in my area haven't sold as well for me as the beanies and the headbands, but I wanted to include them because I don't know about your area if they're really popular or if it gets super duper cold where you are. Infinity scarves and other scarves are a really, really great idea for you to incorporate into your booth. And if you can try to match them to beanies you already have, then people are more likely to buy as a bundle, and that is a really, really great sales strategy for you to make more income at your craft shows. Okay, so if you're new around here, you probably don't know this, but I used to be kind of scared of making amigurumi things, and now I am obsessed with it. I am absolutely obsessed with it. So I've been doing the bees, I've been doing the chickens, but I recently came across this pattern and I thought it was just perfect. So if you're looking for some inspiration, look up some fall themed or Halloween themed amigurumi to sell at your craft shows. You don't have to just be selling amigurumi, and if you don't like amigurumi that much or don't know what it is, it's a little toy making, and it can be a little complicated, but trust me, the patterns I've been using are not at all. They're really beginner friendly, and I think these are just a great addition to any craft show booths. They sell amazing at craft shows as well, so let me just show you. I mean, come on. They are so cute, these little ghosts. I actually have not sold these, but I had to include it in this video because these are going to sell. I know they're going to sell. I know my customers, these are going to sell. I've made quite a few already, probably like 15. This pattern is a free pattern on Crochet with Bay's Instagram. I will link it down below, and you can go make some of these for your markets as well. Some other things to keep in mind are little bats. That would be really cute. Candy corn. Think of Halloween characters, Halloween things, but also fall items, and even incorporating fall colors into amigurumi you already offer. Like say you're making the Mama Made Minis dinos and you incorporated fall tones and fall colors in there. It's just a great way to get in season without doing a totally fall or Halloween item, but I definitely think these are going to sell really well, and I'm super excited to let you know how they do because I'm going to be doing a ton of market vlogs coming up with my busy fall season, and I cannot wait to keep you updated on how things like this sell. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on those videos. As far as how much I'm going to sell the ghosts for, I'm thinking 12 or 14. I actually haven't done all of my costs for materials yet, and so I'm gonna plug all of that into my pricing calculator and determine the exact price, but that is kind of where I'm thinking it's gonna end up. And as far as other amigurumi, I think anywhere from $5 to $100 is fair, and I know 100 sounds like a lot for amigurumi, but have you seen some of the amigurumi people make and the plushies people make? They're so big, and the really, really big ones, obviously you're gonna want to sell for even more than $100, but when you're selling at a craft show, I think staying below 100 if you can will benefit you more as if you're trying to sell that product now. But if you're trying to draw customers in with big amigurumi, I think that's a really smart idea as well. But try focusing on smaller items because those are going to sell for you more often. You're actually going to make more back for your time investment and all of that as well. Okay, the next one is really fun and sells really well at fall markets. I've sold these before. I haven't the last year or two just because I have so many products. I had to kind of try to narrow it down, and sometimes people don't know what these are just by looking at it, so I think I need to package it a little bit cuter. But they are boot cuffs. Now, boot cuffs are so popular around here. They're so cute, they're so warm, they're so fall, and they just sell really well. You can sell them from anywhere like $10 to $25 depending on the style and all the things. Now, I recommend recommend sticking with some chunky yarn, maybe Woolies Thick and Quick. And if you want a pattern on this, I can definitely write up my pattern that I used on these boot cuffs as well. They're really fun to make. They sell really well in fall, and they're also in that lower price point range, which is super awesome when selling at craft shows. So something that doesn't fit into this lower price point range is chunky blankets, but chunky blankets, these things draw in customers like nothing else. Just make a chunky blanket. Just make a chunky blanket, put it up somewhere high where people can see it. You are gonna be so impressed with the amount of people drawn in and wanna feel that chunky blanket. Use the soft yarn, use the super chunky yarn. It whips up pretty fast. It's gonna be a little bit more of an investment because all that yarn is gonna cost you more, but you can charge more for this product. Now, this product isn't necessarily going to sell for you a lot, but it's still worth looking into making because it draws in those customers, and they might be drawn in by your blanket and buy a beanie or buy a little ghost or buy a pumpkin, because these are people who wouldn't have even stopped if they didn't see this beautiful blanket displayed. So I definitely love doing blankets. I love doing baby blankets because they're a little bit easier to prep. I have this baby blanket made with the Forever fleece from Bernat. Super duper soft, super cozy. I can definitely write up this pattern as well. I feel like there's a lot of patterns I have to write up, but I definitely can write this pattern up. It's a lemon peel stitch, so pretty. And things like this also add a beautiful texture to lay other products on and just have a different variety of price points at your markets. Now, again, these are gonna be higher price point options. So anywhere, depending on the size of the blanket, from $50 to $150 is probably a good range to stick to when creating blankets for your market. You're sitting here saying, Camryn, my blanket took me 45 hours to make and $100 materials, and you want me to sell it for just $150? You're crazy. I'm just saying, for craft shows, I try to stick in that range. I really don't try to go over 100 when I can, but with products like this, if I need to go over 100, that's okay, because it's not gonna sell every time. It will eventually sell, but it's gonna draw in so many customers and you're going to make money on it in a different way, if that makes sense. So that's just something to keep in mind. And if you're wondering how I can keep the cost low on blankets, then look at using chunky yarn and doing more of a throw size. I think that's gonna really help you keep your costs down and also keep your time investment low. That way you can offer a more affordable price for your customers, but blankets can be pretty tricky to price, but I price them just the same as I price everything else. They just end up having to be a higher price point. If you're already offering beanies and headbands or even scarves, then offering mittens is a really great idea, and offer it in the same colors and textures and yarn as you used before, because here's the thing, mittens rarely sell alone for me. I'll have my mittens sitting out and it's rare that somebody will just buy a pair of mittens. Most of the time they love the beanies so much that they want to get the matching mittens. So this is definitely kind of an add-on product. They also make really great gifts, because sometimes a beanie doesn't feel enough for a gift, and so adding in the mittens makes it kind of more of a set, so that's super cute as well. So just something to keep in mind. You can sell these from about $30 to $50. I sell my mittens at $50, and I know it sounds kind of expensive, but people do buy them and they do take a lot of time. So if I go lower on that, it's just not worth it for me. So I sell mine at $50. Now there are some more chunkier patterns you can try out, and you can get that price point down a little bit because you're gonna have less time invested into them. So that's something to look into as well. Okay, so I don't have any of these made for this year's markets, but it's because I kind of ran out of time, because it's one of those more bigger items that draw customers in, and you won't necessarily be selling them like crazy at the show. Now let me explain this. So crocheted chunky sweaters, they are so cute. I have a mannequin that I put the sweater on, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. I also hang up some of my sweaters if I have them on my, it's actually a plant rack display thing that I got. So if you haven't checked those out yet, I will link those in the description box down below as well. I have 2 of them and they're really great to hang things on. I also put a bunch of my pumpkins on that rack as well. It's kind of like tiered like this, but it has somewhere to hang things on the top. So that's where I usually would hang my sweaters. They seriously draw so many people in. Now, I will say with the sweaters, people usually don't want that sweater that you're offering because it's hard for people to find a sweater that they love in the exact color, in the exact style, unless you had a ton of them available, which in that case, you would have had to be prepping for years because they do take a long time. So I usually only had a couple available. And I think some people, they would say, oh, it's not the right size. Oh, I'd want it in this color. Oh, I'd want this sweater, but this texture yarn, they'd want it in velvet or something. Here's a little tip for you. Only offer sweaters if you're willing to work with people on custom orders. That is kind of why I took a step back and didn't offer sweaters this year, because I got way too many custom orders and it was a little overwhelming. But if you love working with people on custom orders, people will pay for it. They will pay hundreds of dollars for a custom sweater. So keep that in mind. If you have some even as examples and maybe a book of different colors and different styles that you can offer to them, then that is something to really, really look into. Now, I will say the chunkier the better, again, because you can keep that time investment a bit lower. It's handmade with really great quality materials and people do invest into it. It's not going to be every customer you have come to your market that wants to purchase a sweater from you, but I will say you are going to get so many custom requests. Sometimes people just get drawn in and they buy something else and you still made a sale because that product drew them in. As far as how much you sell your sweaters for, it really depends on the size. If you're doing baby ones, you can start about $30. I mean, it could go all the way up to $200, honestly, for a sweater. And if you're doing custom orders, it could be even more than that. So this is definitely not your super affordable, everybody's gonna grab one when they're at your booth kind of thing, but it is a great item to draw customers in. And again, if you like taking customs, do some sweaters. Lastly, I want you to try making cup cozies. And I'm kind of talking to myself right now because I actually haven't tried selling cup cozies, but I've seen other makers sell these like crazy, especially in fall. Cozies are so awesome because, I mean, it's fall. We're all drinking pumpkin spice lattes. We might as well have a cute cozy on there. And I've heard so many other makers say they sell super well for them at craft shows. So I definitely recommend giving them a go. Now, I personally have not tried making them, but I definitely want to try to make some this year if I have time and see how they do at my upcoming shows, because a ton of people at my shows have coffees in their hands already. So I could picture some of them just popping on their little cozy on their coffees at the actual show. So I'm super excited to see how those sell as well. Another fun thing you could do is play around with the colors of the cup cozies as well and offer them in fall colors. Also, just in general, incorporate those fall colors and decor into your display and also the products you make. So for example, this mustard yellow color isn't something that I necessarily use a lot in my business, but I love adding pops of it in my fall displays because it draws customers in. It's definitely a seasonal color that I offer. A rusty red is definitely another one that is really popular. You can think even an olive green sometimes is viewed as more of a fall color. You can kind of go two ways. You could go really into fall or really into Halloween. I mean, you can incorporate both a little bit as well, but if you're going really into Halloween themed stuff, then I think playing with deep purples and black is going to be really, really cool and draw customers into more of that Halloween vibe. As always, please feel free to tag me in any of the products that you're working on for your upcoming fall shows, even your displays, all of the things. I love it when you tag me so I can check all of that out. Even if it's not with my pattern, I still love seeing what you're up to. And if you want to see how I sell these products and how I display them, I can definitely, first of all, do more videos on that, but I will link you to this video here on YouTube where I show selling fall items at an actual fall market, and I think you're really, really gonna love it. So go ahead and watch this video next. Thanks so much for hanging out with me in today's video, and don't forget to tag me in your beautiful creations over on Instagram. I will see you all in this video right here. Bye. Now I have these popcorn stitch pumpkins pumpkin pattern pumpkins okay, pumpkin stitch no my gosh, popcorn stitch pumpkin pattern